Welcome to the Unraveling Achiever, the podcast for the person who's done everything right and is now questioning what that even means. I'm Angela McKay, former SVP of HR turned intuitive career coach and soul reading practitioner. I help accomplished folks like you to stop defaulting to what looks good and start building what feels true. Because you don't have to turn your life upside down, you just need to point your achiever energy toward a soul-led career and life you'll love. Every episode, I tune into the energy of what's showing up for my clients and community and share what needs to be heard. No bypassing the mess, just honest guidance for the unraveling that changes everything. Let's get into it. Today's episode is about when your career is built on proving yourself. And if you felt something shift or tighten when you heard that, this episode is for you. A career built on proving yourself looks like chasing external validation, being addicted to achievement, and tying your worth to your performance and productivity. You need the recognition, you need the praise, you need people to see how good you are, how hard you work, how much you accomplish. Because without that external validation, you're not sure you're enough. And so you keep pushing, you keep performing, you keep achieving, not because the work lights you up, not because it's deeply fulfilling, but because you're trying to prove that you're qualified, that you're valuable, that you deserve to be here. Sometimes you might even be trying to prove that you're better than someone else. And it's exhausting because no matter how much you achieve, it's never quite enough. Or that's what your mind says. Your mind says that there's always something coming up short. There's always a way that you could have done it better. There's always someone who might find out that you're not as good as they think you are. And it's exhausting because the cycle never stops. You keep trying to prove. So I tuned into this energy when your career is built on proving yourself. And I asked 3 questions. How do you know you're trying to prove yourself? What is that causing? And what's a step you can take? And here's what came through. The first message is about recognizing the signs, because sometimes we're so deep in the pattern that we don't even realize we're doing it. The first sign, you are your harshest critic. No one judges you as harshly as you judge yourself. You look at your work and all you see is what's wrong with it. All you see is where it falls short. All you see is how it could have been better. Other people might praise it. They might tell you it's great, but you can't accept that because you know all the ways it's not good enough. The second sign, you feel like something is always coming up short, like you're never as good as you could be. You hit a goal, and instead of celebrating, you immediately move to the next one. You achieve something, and instead of feeling satisfied, you feel like it wasn't that impressive. You get recognition and you think, well, if they really knew me, they'd see that I'm not that good. There's this constant feeling of not measuring up to some invisible standard. The third sign, you feel like people will find out that you're not qualified unless you perform perfectly. This is classic imposter syndrome. You believe that if you make a mistake, if you show any weakness, if you're anything less than perfect, people will see through you. They'll realize you don't actually belong here. They'll discover you're a fraud. So you have to perform perfectly. You have to prove over and over that you deserve to be here. The fourth sign, you don't feel a sense of fulfillment and alignment with the work you do. It doesn't bring you joy. You might be good at it. You might be successful at it. You might get praised for it. But when you're doing the work, you're not lit up. You're not deeply satisfied. You're just performing because the work isn't about the work. The work is about proving yourself. If any of these signs resonate with you, you're likely operating from a place of trying to prove yourself rather than working from a place of authenticity and fulfillment. And that's what we need to address because this pattern has consequences. So the second message is about what this pattern is causing in your life and career, because it's not just exhausting, it's creating some real problems. First, it's causing a false sense of admiration. You're getting recognition, you're getting praise, people are impressed by what you're accomplishing, but it's surface level. It's about what you're producing. Deep down, you know that if you stopped performing at this level, the admiration would fade and it wouldn't come in as often. Surface level praise does not lead to deep satisfaction, it's hollow. Second, it's causing an obsession with being recognized. You're constantly looking for validation. You need people to notice. You need people to praise you. You need people to acknowledge how hard you're working and how much you're achieving. And this is true even if you find it difficult to accept praise. And when you don't get that recognition, when your work goes unnoticed, or someone else gets the credit, or you don't get the response you were hoping for, it feels devastating because without the external validation, you're not sure you have value. Third, it's causing you to do the work in order to be admired rather than to feel deeply fulfilled. Your motivation isn't internal, it's external. You're not asking, does this work light me up? Does this align with who I am? Does this bring me satisfaction? You're asking, will this impress people? Will this get me recognized? Will this prove that I'm good enough? And so you end up in a career path that might look impressive, but doesn't fulfill you. And fourth, the praise you do get, it wears off quickly. It's just feeding your ego for a moment, and then it's gone. And then you need more. Because surface level praise can't fill the deeper need for self-worth and authentic fulfillment. You're on this treadmill. Achieve, get praised, feel good for a minute, then need to achieve again to get more praise. It's a cycle that never ends and never satisfies. This pattern is costing you. It's costing you your peace. It's costing you your authenticity. It's costing you the possibility of doing work that lights you up. And it's time to do something different. With that, the third message is about what you can do. And it's not about stopping all achievement or giving up on your career. It's about shifting your motivation and your approach. The step you need to take is this. Shift your attention to doing your work because it lights you up rather than doing the work in a push-through manner. Right now, you're pushing. You're forcing yourself to keep going because you have to prove yourself, because you have to maintain the recognition, because you have to keep up the performance. But what if you shifted to doing work that energizes you, even just a little? Work that you want to do, not because it will impress people, but because it genuinely interests you, fulfills you, or aligns with who you are. Rest assured, you can still go quickly, you can still be productive, you can still achieve, but make sure it's strategically quick, meaning it's best for you and the outcome, not for the admiration or the show. There's a difference between moving fast because you're driven by authentic purpose and moving fast because you're trying to prove something. One is sustainable, one burns you out. You have a choice in front of you. You can either continue to push and prove yourself, keep performing, keep chasing external validation, or you can ease up. You can take a look at the map, and you can choose a route that is more fulfilling and sustainable. This requires you to get honest about what you want, not what looks good, not what will impress people, not what will get you recognized, but what lights you up. And then it requires you to take control of your path, to set goals that are meaningful to you, not just impressive to others, to focus on work that aligns with your values, not just your need for validation. And it requires you to trust in your abilities, to believe that you are enough, even without the constant external validation, to have confidence that you have the strength and capacity to do meaningful work without needing to prove yourself every single day. Here's the action. This week, identify one project or task that you're doing primarily for external validation. something you're doing because you think it will impress people or get you recognized or prove your worth. And ask yourself, if no one was watching, if no one was going to praise me for this, would I still want to do it? Does this actually light me up? If the answer is no, if you're doing it only for the validation, consider whether you can let it go, delegate it, or approach it differently. And then identify one thing you could do that would light you up, something that aligns with who you are, that feels meaningful, and that you'd want to do even if no one noticed. Start shifting your energy toward that. So those are the 3 messages about when your career is built on proving yourself. First, how to know you're trying to prove yourself. You're your harshest critic. You feel like you were never as good as you could be. You fear being found out, and the work doesn't bring you joy. If these resonate, you're operating from a place of proving rather than authenticity. Second, what trying to prove yourself is causing. False sense of admiration, obsession with being recognized. You're doing the work to be admired, not fulfilled, and the praise wears off quickly. This pattern is costing you your peace and your authenticity. Third, the step to take. Shift to doing your work because it lights you up, not because you're pushing through to prove something. You can still move quickly. Just make sure it's strategic, not performative. You have a choice. Keep pushing and proving, or ease up, look at the map, and choose a more fulfilling route. Your career doesn't have to be built on proving yourself. It can be built on authenticity, on doing work that genuinely lights you up, and contributing in a way that aligns with who you are. But that requires letting go of the addiction to external validation. It requires trusting that you're enough, even without the constant praise. It requires choosing fulfillment over recognition. And that's the hard work, because it's the work that leads to a career and a life that actually feels good. You don't have to keep proving. You can just be, and that can be enough. If what you heard today resonated, I'd love to support you in going deeper. Soul Reading is a 75-minute one-on-one session where I open your Akashic records, which are like the library of you, and help you reconnect with what your soul already knows about your path, your purpose, and what's next. You can learn more and book at angelamckllc.com/soul-reading. And if this episode landed for you, subscribe or follow so you don't miss what's coming next. New episodes drop on Wednesdays. Thanks for being here, and until next time, take care.